Alright, time to make awning brackets. The Prenzu should slide right on there. Alright, build up number 2. Alright, building some brackets for the awning that I want to be installing, and went ahead and got some L brackets, soldered them together. Got a rudimentary shape. Ended up deciding to shorten them a little bit, just a little too tall. So here's an example of that. And here is the finished product, freshly painted. I'm still just a little tacky. So these will slide into the cross rails. So here's an example of the rail. Of course, there's a side beam that goes there to support, and then this will go over top and then cut out underneath the side, and that'll sit just like that, and then 4 bolts will hold it in place. So other than getting everything loaded up, I think everything's done, at least as done as it's going to be. So the to-do list has really been trimmed down. So there's a lot gone. Didn't have to reseal the rear diff cover yet. I checked it. The fluid in there is right up to the tippy top. So yeah, it's seeping, but it's all right. Certainly one of those things where, really the rule is if you can take care of it before you go, you're better off doing it. I just don't have time. So clearly it's full. It's been seeping for a while. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take gear oil, so just in case, I'm going to have it, but I'm not going to remove it, not going to reseal it. That's just not feasible. I've never even noticed any drips or anything, in the driveway, so I knew it wasn't that bad, but now I know with confirmation that, I'm still right up at the top. So other than that, on the list, there were some other electrical upgrades I wanted to do. I hate not doing it, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that it's something that I didn't just get done in time to go, because I would hate for that to be something that I didn't have time to test at least 2 or 3 days before heading out, and that way if it wasn't working, I couldn't reverse it. You know what I mean? So in that regard, I'm kind of glad I didn't have time to do that, especially if I didn't have time to test it. So with that being said, final walk around for the Colorado trip. Got the awning on, and I'll do a little bit of a closer up of the brackets, but you've seen the truck. This has been my garage for the last week. This has been my companion. Did not get to clean the winch line. That's okay. So cases installed. Just need to fill them up. And the one thing I did not get to really show you, because it was a rush, the welds are atrocious, but function over form. It is bolted up to the utility track system, and so this thing, that's the lid moving, but that's not going to go anywhere. One thing I might likely do is replace this with a ratchet strap. Not that I think it's really necessary, but I'm going to do that. Something you don't see is I put about a 2-inch thick foam, like you see in the gun cases and stuff, in the bottom of this for the battery. That way, off-roading, if there is any shifting or anything, that battery is not going to, if it does lift up, it's not going to slam back down on to something hard and solid and potentially crack. It's AGM, but it's still lead acid in a sense. It's not going to necessarily spill, but I just didn't want to crack the case or do anything like that to damage it. So there is some foam in the bottom of this just to provide some cushion for that. So still plenty of clearance. You'll notice the wire coming out of here is really small. It's 2 16-gauge wires. Listen, this is just for auxiliary power. It is powering a water pump that is, when it's running, drawing like 3 amps. The fridge, is drawing minimal amperage. So, and this is not the main cell. This is an auxiliary cell to two other smaller cells behind the back seat. So this just ties into that. This is just adding to, what's being, drawn upon. So 16 gauge wire running, from here into the back of the cab. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, I don't know, let's say 6 feet is not significant. That's not a concern for, let's say, 20 amps, and that's probably an over exaggeration if everything was running at the same time, of power. Um, it's fine. I did not need to run 10 gauge wire or anything. This isn't running a stereo. This isn't running, light, stuff like that. So water tank, water bricks, that's been here. Fuel storage, drawer system, bed rack, reinforcements here and here. This reinforcement's been here. Added this reinforcement as well. So now everything's a lot more solid. I did have to remove the traction boards on this side to install the awning. That's fine. I've got the front locker in, so I think that kind of compensates, and I've still got the traction boards over there. People can scoff and laugh at traction boards. I have used these things multiple times, me and other individuals. They do have their use, but I've got a couple. Don't know that I would need them, but also got a front locker now, so may not need them at all anyway. There we go. So there's the side with the awning. And I was able to keep my Yoda Twins handles. I just had to adjust them a little bit, so that way I'm not pulling on this, which I could. It's on there solid, but I don't want to pull on that, especially not my 14-year-old. So there we go. Bolt it down on there. So they tuck under the Pelican cases slightly. And then of course they hook over the edge and are tied together by the awning. So there we go. Wish us luck. See you on the other side. And of course, just on a final note, when we get back, not only will we have to unload everything and put it away, but I'm also going to have all this mess to clean up. So no, I did not put my toys away when I was finished playing with them. I'll just have to be grounded, I guess.